Hi Bunnies! I know that many of you are huge Disney fans, but did you know that the real fairy tales behind the movies are actually completely different? Some of them are so horrifying that they might just ruin your childhood. You will never look at the Disney princesses the same way again. Take for example the Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid is written by the Danish author Hans Christian Andersen. In the original story, the mermaid gets human legs too, but every step she takes is like walking on sharp knives, so she bleeds all the time. Also, the price of the bargain isn't just her voice. The sea witch gets her tongue, and the Little Mermaid never gets it back. Like this isn't enough, in the end of the story the prince marries another woman, and the Little Mermaid gets her heart broken and turns to foam on the waves. If you think this sounds loco, you have no idea. The next story is even more crazy. Rapunzel. The Rapunzel story is an old folk tale, which was written down by the German Grimm brothers. In this story, the witch never stole Rapunzel, but she got her in a bargain with Rapunzel's father because Rapunzel's mother desired the flowers in the witch's garden. Talk about greed and bad parenting. This is not all. Later, when the witch discovered that Rapunzel had been seeing a prince, she left Rapunzel to suffer in a hot desert. When the prince found out that Rapunzel was gone, he got so sad that he threw himself from the tower and landed in a thorn bush. The thorns pricked out his eyes, so he wandered blindly and aimlessly around in the woods for years, until Rapunzel and the prince finally found each other and Rapunzel's tears cured his eyes. However, this is nothing compared to the next one, Hercules. Disney practically changed Hercules' entire life story to fit a younger audience, because Hercules' original story is not cute or child-friendly at all. In the old myth, Hercules was not the son of Hera and Zeus. He was the product of Zeus' infidelity. Hera, sick with jealousy and anger, tried to kill Hercules several times, both during the pregnancy and when he was just a baby in his crib. But luckily, she didn't succeed. When Hera finally realized she couldn't kill Hercules, she did something much worse. She drove him mad, as in completely bonkers. While Hercules was influenced by Hera, he killed both his wife Megara and his 3 sons. And as this wasn't enough, Hera took away the madness again, so Hercules saw what he had done, and he wanted to take his own life. If you're the type to think, this might be the time to turn away, because in Cinderella it gets downright disgusting. The stepmother Lady Tremaine in the Disney movie is a saint compared to the stepmother in the original story. Do you remember the scene in the end where the girls are trying on the glass slipper in the hopes of marrying the prince? They struggle and do everything they can to get their big feet into the tiny glass slipper, but in vain. In the old fairy tale, the stepmother demands that they go a step further. She gives the stepsisters a knife and forces them to cut off their toe and heel to fit into the shoe. The shoe then fits each stepsister in turn, and the prince only realizes the scam when birds tell him that the girls are bleeding all over the place. Sleeping Beauty. In both versions of Sleeping Beauty, Princess Aurora, also sometimes called Rose Briar, pricks a finger in a spindle and everyone in the castle goes to sleep. A huge forest filled with thorns grows around the castle, covering the entire thing like a huge fortress. In the Disney movie, the thorns never really hurt anybody, but in the fairy tale, several knights get caught and die in the thorns. But there's more. Like Rapunzel, Sleeping Beauty is an old folk tale, which was told to kids through generations, and it often has a second part, which is rarely included in modern versions of the story. In part 2, the princess kissed Aurora and married her, and everything seemed to be fine. Except, Prince Philip has to keep Aurora a secret from his mother, because his mother is an ogre. One day, while Prince is away in business, their mother tries to eat Aurora and her 2 children. The kind cook saves them by serving animal meat and tricking the princess mother into thinking that she's eating her daughter-in-law and grandchildren. In the end, the prince returns and the cannibalistic mother, who knows that she has now been exposed, commits suicide, and finally the royal family can get their happily ever after. What do you think about all these stories? For one, I'm pretty happy Disney changed the stories, so they are more about love and friendship than killing and cruelty. I still like the old fairy tales and they're pretty good as horror stories. Do you like the old stories? Comment below. That was it for today. Have an awesome day, bunnies. See you in the next video.